right. So welcome once again to the podcast presented by Trynyty. As usual, my name is Cody Lacroix. I'm one of the co-founders of Trynyty. And today I'm super stoked to have one of our 5 team riders with me and one of the OGs, if you would, of the scooter scene here in Montreal. We've got Fat Pizza Slut, also known as Benjamin Lemieux. Ben, what's going on, my man?
Dude, we're having fun. It's a good time out here. I'm actually filming for a part right now. We're back to school. It's hot. It's really hot in Montreal right now. Still, it's pretty. It's gonna get colder, but it's a good time right now.
It's definitely still hot. So you're saying you're back at school, and in Quebec there's CEGEP, which is sort of like college, and that's what you're doing. And what year are you in now?
Basically, I'm in my 3rd year because I took a longer program than usually university programs.
Right.
So, I'm kind of staying 3 years in college, and because normally it's 2 years. But if you're really bad at it, you can say 5-7 years. It can get long.
Right. It's crazy for me because in Ontario there's no CEGEP. It's just not a thing. So I went straight from high school to university, which is actually a bit of a rough transition. So I think it's kind of cool that there's the CEGEP to kind of get you used to working on your own schedule and being away from home if you're far from home, and stuff like that is kind of interesting. But I do know the way they calculate your average, and then that's used to get you into university, and that can kind of mess with some people. So it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Your high school is way longer now, so it kind of balances between university and high school.
Right.
So it kind of ends up I guess at the same, but
well, it's a cool transition, I think, because that's one thing I didn't have. I went straight from high school to 6 hours away from home at university, working on my own schedule, and I was not ready for that at 17 years old. It was
a
boom.
back to reality. Hey, what's up, adult life?
Yep,
we're there.
It was the time management was the big thing, but I think it's cool that CJ kind of helps you guys with that transition. So, what do you study at school?
I'm actually studying business right now, but I don't know why I basically picked that up. It's actually super useful because I can understand a little better how society works and stuff. So I might just have a better knowledge of what's going on.
Right.
I do not know if I want to get myself into business stuff. It feels weird.
Oh, business is pretty intense. I'll definitely say that, but it's super relevant too because it's cool to be able to kind of see. You get a pretty behind the scenes look at the way Trinity's moving and stuff like that. So hopefully you can relate it.
That's
to
actually
school.
Cool because I can actually understand more how the business works and how the scooter industry works. It's a pretty weird, it's really, really, really cool business. It's the best one.
For sure. So you said you're filming for a part. Now this would be, how are you filming it? Who are you filming it with? And what are your plans with it?
Actually, we're filming with all the TTS boys. Most of the guys I'm filming with, it's Clovis, Kevin, Nico. Shout out to Nico.
Shout out to Nico. Yep.
And all the boys, we're always filming, grinding, having fun. And the goal is actually we're making a full length, but my part is gonna be probably release before. Am I allowed
separately?
To?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's gonna be included in the full length too, because it's supposed to be a banger.
It's looking good from what I've heard.
It's looking good. My body really hurts. I am messed up. No big injuries yet this summer, which is good. Gotta knock on some wood.
Knock on the wood.
Knock on the wood. But yeah. Actually, it's looking good. It's probably one of the toughest challenges I've ever had to do in my whole life. It's hard. Shout out to security guards. You guys are not the GOATs, but you're doing your job. Thank you. But it's actually it's really fun. I love it. It's cool. We're still doing it tomorrow.
And you guys are filming all on the VX, right?
Yeah, but we actually mixed it with DVX, which doesn't change that much, I guess. It's just higher quality, just a little bit still SD, so it works well.
Cool. And do you have a timeline for when you want that to be done, or you're just gonna, whenever you're satisfied, that's when you're gonna drop it?
If I just keep going until I'm satisfied, I'm never gonna drop it. So, but I'm pretty satisfied right now. So the goal is we're gonna film until winter.
Right.
So it's probably gonna be 4 degrees outside when we're gonna be filming.
We're still going at it. Yeah,
we're still gonna rock.
We'll be shoveling out spots to get the last clips.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah, we've done it before. We'll do it again.
The goal is to actually film till November and stuff, to get as much footage as possible.
Yep.
And then just rock it out. Clovis is gonna edit it, and the goal is that it's gonna be out before the end of 2019. Hopefully.
Right. Hopefully.
Not hopefully. It's gonna happen.
Don't quote us, but that's the plan.
That's the plan. It's not all 100% on me. So shout out to the boys if they can do it.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
My man Clovis, he's definitely gonna come through. I actually love the way Clovis edits, so it's definitely gonna be a cool.
The way he edited amateur sex tape, it's amazing.
It's really, really good. And amateur sex tape, for anyone who doesn't know, is the TTS
like park mix.
The park mix that they made. It's not some actual amateur sex tape. Movie, it's not some actual, adult amateur sex tape.
I feel bad if actually like kids went on YouTube and searched for that. Like they actually went.
Well, I think most people watching it was chill, but I gotta imagine at least 1 or 2 kids were like watching it. Their parents kind of peeked over, like, what are they watching? They just see, or like they see in their search history, like YouTube amateur sex tape. You know what I mean? Or I think Clovis named it like AMST or whatever.
Yeah, that's actually
it's funny,
gonna work. Actually, it's better. Like if you just know what you're doing for it's pretty fun.
Yeah, if you haven't seen amateur sex tape, we'll put the link in the bio because I think a lot of people got to watch that. It was a fun time.
Like the premiere was the best though.
Yeah, so we had the Pro Invitational. We mentioned this in I think episode 2 of the podcast, but we did the Pro Invitational, and then at the bar afterwards we premiered the video, and it was fun. It was cool. It was like
people really loved it, and like it was
basically
fun, dude. Just us chilling around, having a good time, just being us, I guess.
Yeah,
it was cool.
That was cool. Like the vibe kind of shined through.
Yeah, even Kevin,
was just boys having fun.
Yeah, Kevin, like the owner of Ep.5, just like said, dude, it just made me want to ride, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool cool thing to hear, especially from Kevin.
Dude, that guy's amazing. He's the goat.
Yeah, shout out to Kevin for half of what I'm rolling on is because of him right now, and the other half is Trynyty. So
he is the man. I can ride a scooter because that guy and you.
Shout out to KK, man. So obviously we came here today. The main reason I brought you in is because you and I, on pretty short notice, decided to head down to Boston for the Street Jam. So when did you know that was a plan for you and that you wanted to try to make it to the Boston Street Jam?
Like one of my homies from like Gatineau, like which is pretty close from Ontario.
Yep.
He just hit me like I guess a week and a half before. He said, "Yo, do you want to go down to Boston? There's a Street Jam." I'm like, I'm really down. Looks fun. Like I've never been to an actual Street Jam, so I was like, "Yo, let's do it."
Yep.
And everything seemed to work actually like really fine. We found a place to crash, like Andrew Quinn's place, a guy from Boston. He's so chill. Like
yeah, we'll get to Andrew. Fuck yeah.
But like he just texted me. I was like, all right, dude, let's do it. And like he texted you and just said like there wasn't enough place actually.
So yeah, what happened was he had hit me up and I was like, man, I don't know if I can go because of work and whatnot, but bring Benji. Benji would actually throw down. Bring him. And he was like, that's a good idea. So he hit you up, and then I looked into it and I was able to get time off and I could go no problem. But Andrew, like you said, he was gracious enough. Shout out to Andrew, man. He blessed us that weekend for sure, and I'm sure we'll mention him a bunch of times throughout this episode. I love that, man. So he was like, yeah, it's all good. But at the time, there was Jeremy, another guy from the Ottawa Gatineau area, Ryan. Shout out to young Ryan. He was supposed to come too. And then you, and then last minute, not Ryan, but Jeremy was like, yo, could Cody come too? And he's like, oh, I don't know. But he's like, yo, it's the dude from Trynyty. Like, he'll come. He'll probably even jump on the mic, whatever. And then Andrew's like, oh, well, we got to bring him down. But I felt kind of bad. And like I was taking time off work just to go. So I was like, you know what, you guys go. It's all good. So you actually work at Letaz, and I work inside the shop at Letaz. So the jam was on a Saturday. It was like 2-3 weeks ago now.
And yeah, basically I was working on the Friday till like 4, and the main plan was that Jeremy was gonna go pick me up in Montreal. Then we were gonna go head out to Boston.
Yep.
And
at this point, I'm not coming.
Yeah, basically. And what happened is like during like my lunch break, I just received a call from Jeremy. He said like, dude, I fucked up. I was like, what's up? He said, no, I fucked up like really bad. Like, oh, dude, don't tell me that. Like,
yeah.
I was so hyped. Like everything was like I had the DVX, which is not even mine, which is actually Kevin's DVX.
Right, and he was gonna let you borrow it. Yep.
And like he just said, dude, my passport has expired. I'm like, oh my god.
As if, right?
Like didn't matter. The guy still went to Montreal though. Like.
Yeah, he still pulled up to Montreal. So I rock up because I started work at 1 and you would start in the morning that day. And I pull up and the first thing I see is our boy Goose. And he's like, yo, Benji is super bummed, dude. I was like, why? He's going to Boston tonight. He's like, nah, dude, his ride canceled, something with his passport. And then the first thing in my head was like, I started doing math of like how much time I could get off and who could cover me for the weekend. And I was like, I could make this happen.
We did make this happen.
We can make this happen. So at 1 o'clock on Friday, I decided that at 6 o'clock the same day, we were going to drive down to Boston to be there for the jam on Saturday. So we hit up Andrew to make sure it was still cool. He was like, hell yeah, especially if it's just 2. That makes it even easier because Ryan didn't want to come because Jeremy was coming down later, so it didn't quite work out. But ultimately, on like a couple hours notice, I decided that we were going to make this happen. So I finished working. We left from Taz, went to my place, packed a bunch of stuff, super last minute, didn't forget the passports, made sure they weren't expired, and we hit the road.
Oh, dude, that was actually a cool road. Shout out to Vermont. Vermont's beautiful.
Vermont's beautiful, yeah.
Like, it's been actually a while since I've actually been to the United States. I was like, oh, dude, it's going to be cool. Dude, Dunkin' Donuts are very, very bad for your health.
Don't miss a Dunkin',
crazy.
dude. I've been losing weight this year. I lost like 16, 17 pounds this year. We went to the U.S. Guess what? I came back. I had gained 3 back in 3 days. That's a pound a day. Got to be careful when you're in the U.S., man. That was a pound a day I gained back.
These coffees are boosted on something else.
There's like 80 grams of sugar per sip in those coffees.
Oh, dude, it's terrible. Like, they work well. Like, I drank one like right before the jam.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, dude, I'm good. I'm good.
And I actually didn't know how close Boston was. It's literally closer for me to go to Boston than just to go visit my parents north of Toronto.
Like, yeah, your parents, like, they're
It's
actually
like
like
6 and a half,
6
7
and a half.
even, yeah.
It was like 5.5. Yeah. And dude, that bridge, like when we got to Boston, is actually so sick.
It was super cool.
The bridge upper Lynch, it's so cool.
Yeah, and like obviously we knew Boston was big, but to be there and to see it, there's spots everywhere.
Oh,
it's
dude.
amazing riding there.
There's I need to go back just to film.
We are gonna go back. It's definitely in the plans. We'll do either a QC or a Trynyty or both trip to Boston.
Hey,
definitely gonna go watch the next UFC there whenever there is one at the Garden.
Oh, dude,
man, it's
you
beautiful.
got too bummed. Like you said, dude, I want to be there. I want to be there. I want to be there. I'm like, hey, next time, Cody, we gotta go.
It's so good. So we actually crossed the border, and of course, my car. I actually have my driver's side. Yeah, my driver's side window. So this is a bit of an aquity, like on the side. But a while back, somebody hit and ran while I was parked.
Yeah.
While I was back home in Ontario, and put a dent in my driver's side door. And I was like, all right, whatever. It's not the end of the world. We'll get it fixed.
Open it.
No, listen, it gets more complicated. So at this point, you know how I have electric windows. Well, you can hear when you're trying to get my driver's side window up or down that the machine is struggling. And it's because whenever the person rammed my door,
which just like blocked the system.
So it like had hit the motor. And it's funny enough, I literally used a plunger, which is a trick if you don't know this. If you have a small dent and your plunger can fit on your car door, you grab the plunger and bang, you pull it out. So my dent is almost unnoticeable, but the damage was still done to the motor. So when you're like using the thing to put the window up and down, you can hear it struggling. And then eventually it just stopped working. Like it just stopped. But luckily it stopped in the up position. So I'm like, sweet, whatever.
Dude, imagine if it just stopped in the middle of the winter. That would be crazy.
Dude, I'm still not done. You got to let me finish. So eventually it stops working, but it's in the up position, so we're good. And it's midwinter in Montreal, downtown. I'm driving around, and thunk, as my window just falling. It just fell. It gave out. So there's nothing holding it. So now at this point, I've got some needle nose pliers in the trunk. So I use the needle nose pliers to get the window up, and then I kept trying to grab it, and I couldn't hold it up. So I ended up grabbing a snowboarding glove because it's got like the texture of the glove is better. So if I was driving and all of a sudden the window would start slipping, I'd have to grab it with my snowboarding glove, which I kept to my right, and I'd throw the glove on, and I kept slamming it up. And then eventually I started taping the window, and now what I have is like a bunch of silicone. One of my mechanic buddies says, just put a $3 tube of silicone the bottom and the top. He goes, whenever you're ready to fix it, you can fix it. You just pull the silicone out, but that'll keep it up. So that's the state of my car window. And all this to say, we pull up to the border, and we're two, scrappy young looking lads at the border.
And the guy just like opens straight the window. Like the guy at the border is like, no, don't do that.
Don't do that. And I was like, oh, sorry, it's the window doesn't work. And I tried to like give him like half of the version of the story I just told, and he wasn't
like, yeah, I
it.
don't care.
He's like, I don't
give
care.
me the passports.
So it was off to an interesting start, but ultimately he was like, you guys aren't selling any products in the States? We're like, no. And he was just like, move along.
You can go.
And I was almost mad that it was that easy to get across the border. I was expecting it to be a way bigger deal. Like I've had the car searched before, especially when you're saying like scooter events. They're like, a what now? You're doing what?
Like, yeah, it's like a skateboard with handlebars, dude.
And then right away, you're not selling the products there. He's like, you're just going to hang out with friends. It's like, that's exactly what we're going to do.
It was a big hangout, actually. Big hangout.
Yeah. So we had left pretty late. Again, it's like 5.5 hours.
We got there like
finished at 6.
2 a.m. I guess.
Man, again, shout out to Andrew because the jam started at noon, but he was like, we're gonna go early to park at Lynch, which has another side story. We woke up hella early, dude, and we pull up. So it's like. We cross the border, keep her going, get to Andrew's place in Boston pretty late. And he had stayed up along with a few of the other dudes because when they heard the Canadians were pulling up, they're like, oh, we'll stay awake and hang out. So some people were passed out when we got there. Some people were awake.
Shout out to Mike.
Mike was passed out on the couch, man. Mike was already K'd. We could hear him snoring when we walked in. The whole time we were all chatting. People were finger skating and stuff.
This guy snores really hard, but I like that guy. He's so sick.
I fucking love Mike, man. Shout out to Mike from Midnight. Sweet Chili Terps.
Sweet Chili Terps.
Mike's the man. Actually probably made this legit.
Legit him.
and maybe even made the shirt you're wearing. So
probably.
yeah,
Dude,
man,
shout
it's
out
dope.
to Andrew and
So
Mike.
he's on the couch, passed out. We rock up, and Andrew comes and meets us. It's like 2 a.m. Everyone's getting up at 7. We end up chilling till like 3. And then graciously, Andrew's like, "Nah, I'm sleeping on the couch. I always sleep on the couch." So we wind up crashing in his room, which was like super blessed. One
And
of the
there was a
homies
guy,
was
like,
already
just
he got
passed out.
too drunk, I guess, passed it on the floor in Andrew's room. And that's what's crazy about some of these jams. Like I've told stories before on this podcast too with Ethan and Lachlan that like I've had at one point I think 7 or 8 dudes in my 4.5 here in Montreal, and we were 6 or 7 that first night in Andrew's place, which was actually a really nice little apartment he had, but.
That's probably like the comfiest bed I've ever slept
Oh
in.
man, we K'd so hard, but sure enough, 7 o'clock rolls around, and then of course I've got my stupid contacts that I have to put in, which takes an extra 20
All day.
minutes. So I run to the sink, start cleaning my stuff out, throw in my contacts. The one's not right, take it out, put it back in. We're good to go. And then he's like, "All right, we're gonna go to Lynch," and that's the big skate park in Boston.
Oh, dude, that park's amazing.
It was sick. So he's like, "All right, we're gonna park at Lynch because we can park there, no problem."
I was like, yeah, dude, that's cool. And like, we didn't like think it was a problem.
I didn't think
at first,
anything
like,
of it. And sure enough, he's like, "All right, so we're going to pull up to Lynch. We're going to go get Dunkin' right away." So we start our day off with some Dunkin'.
And like that coffee just boosted the
It's
hell out of me. I'd
basically the Tim Hortons of the U.S. is Dunkin'
I would say
Donuts.
like if Tim Horton took crack, that would be it. That's basically
I don't know
it.
if you can say that, dude.
I don't say it. Like, I don't know if I could say that, but like, dude, it's like boosted.
Oh, man.
It's like sugary as like
I took
really,
this tall bullshit,
Dude,
iced.
I
don't
know. I
even
took
know.
like the big one, like
There
the
was
XXL.
so much foam in the top, and the thing is, they put so much ice in it.
Dude,
4 sips into it, and it's
crazy.
gone.
That's what I thought. I was like, but there's a lot of coffee in it. So.
There's a ton of coffee, and I took the espresso. You do not need the espresso. There's so much sugar and caffeine in it already. Don't take the espresso.
Dude, what's
You're
like
wasting
the
your money.
extra double espresso shot. And I was like,
silly.
oh, dude, that thing's crazy. So
Yep.
that gave me a big boost for the day with like the 3
Yep.
hours of sleep we had.
So this is important. We start the day, we park at Lynch, and Andrew tells me, he's like, "Yeah, if your car is behind this, there's like a fence around the park, and he's like, as long as you're behind where it turns, you'll be fine. Even though it's a bunch of signs that say
Damn.
they say towaway zone, and he's like, no, you'll be fine." And I'm like, super skeptical, but he's the local. And then a couple skaters too are back and they're like, "No, for real, as long as you're behind where the turn is, there's like these ferry boats that go out, and as long as they can turn around, you'll
There's
be
a
good."
lot of these, man. There's a lot of
There's
these.
so
little
many of these
boats.
little ferry boats doing tours
Like, I
of
started
Boston.
to count at like one moment. I was like, dude, I just spotted like 20 boats in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, so like as long as you're behind the curve, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
And
you'll
I'm
be
like,
all right. That's
all
what
right,
they
no
told
stress,
us.
no stress.
Like we're warming up at Lynch and just
Yep.
like and everybody starts pulling up. And at one point, I just said like I'm like Tutty,
Yeah,
like, Jordan Tutty.
Jordan Touch, shout out to Tuddy.
Like I talked to him like a bunch of times on Instagram. Just like we were just writing and say, "Yo, what's
That's
up?"
funny.
He didn't really know who I was. I was like, "All right." I did like one trick, and you just like, "Yo, are you fat piece of slut?" Like, "Hey, nice to meet you, Ben, by the way."
Man, that's one thing that's crazy about kids. Like I say kids, like respectfully, but people your age. One thing I found, everybody in Boston, well, maybe it's Americans in general, everyone says, "Yo, dude, can I hit your jewel?" That's like not a joke.
Dude.
So Reese Dozima's old Instagram makes perfect sense. That was hilarious
It
how much I
does.
heard that sentence. For one, and two, so many kids and people don't know each other's real names, but they know their
Their
Instagram
Instagram,
handles.
it's
It's
fine.
amazing. It blows my mind.
You know
dude.
that kid Riley actually like believe I was Louis Opel like many times.
Man.
Dude, I think like people told me I was Louis Opel like 5 times a day. Respect to that guy, but,
Dude,
like,
so
I am
so
lost.
Ben's dressed white top to bottom, tall dude, curly hair, shredding. So everyone's like, "Is that Louis Opel?" And then Ben at one point, he's like, literally in the middle of telling me, he's like, "Man, if one more person calls me Louis Opel, I
I
swear to
am
God,"
going to
turns around and the dude's, "Oh, it's Louis Opel, man."
I was like, oh,
right
dude,
after
I'm
he's telling
beating
me.
the shit out of you.
So let's
sorry.
try to keep like a timeline of the day. We pull up to Lynch. We're parked apparently safely. Apparently, keep this in mind. Apparently. So we start riding the park. I go straight to the bowl because I'm an old man. That's all I ride.
Oh, dude, that bowl's amazing.
It's ridiculous, and everyone's cruising. We're meeting people. One of the first people I crossed, Georgie Lewis. My man Georgie is
Oh,
there.
dude, he hooked
So
it up.
stoked to
He
see
hooked
Georgie.
it up.
Gave us the yerbas. Shout out to Yerba. Shout out to Georgie.
I still have the sticker.
And then I met Scott too, Scooby-Doo
Yo,
or whatever
that
his
guy.
name. Oh,
He's cool. He's
Scott's
cool.
super cool. He even said if we wanted to go to the New York gym, he'd have us at his place. So it's an option.
Let's try to make it.
It's an option. September 14th. We'll see.
I'm down. Bonnie
We'll see.
texted me earlier.
That's what I'm saying. So we met a bunch of people. Everything's cool, and there's a lot of people shredding the bowl. Jared Adelson was there. I've met Jared once briefly, but it's really nice to actually get to interact with Jared. I love that dude.
That guy's so cool. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he is scary to watch on a scooter. He goes so high.
Yeah.
But, like on a pool coping bowl.
Oh no, he's sending it every time, but he does catch all of the transitions.
Dude, he has the best scooter flips, no cap.
Yeah,
the only one beating it is like JD's front.
JD's front scoot, easy,
It's like it's not beatable.
So everyone's shredding, and then the Aztec team rocks up, and you've got Jake Sorensen, Logan Fuller, and the two best street scooter riders, at least in the North American hemisphere. You got Olivia and Eva, who all rock up. What a team, man! Aztec crushing it right now, team wise. And if you think you've seen some good bull riding, if you haven't seen Logan Fuller and Jake Sorensen ride a bull in person,
Jake is like stupid to watch.
You
wouldn't even think it's possible to ride a scooter that way.
So they basically rocked up and did a demo, because as soon as you've seen Jake and Logan take one run in this bull,
you wouldn't want to
everyone else is like, oh, I'm not riding anymore. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna let these guys ride.
Dude,
it became a demo right away.
It was stupid. Like, the only reason I actually went to Boston was probably to see Logan Fuller do a bar front.
Man, I would have done the 5.5 hour drive just to watch them ride that bull. It was ridiculous.
Dude,
I did not know you could. Well, obviously I knew it was possible, but to see it in person is a whole different thing.
It's crazy. Plus, that bull is so hard to ride.
Huge.
Like, the deep end is like hard to even backside disaster, and the guy just like
just to even touch the coping in the deep end, I would have been stoked. And these guys are just all the way around the pocket. So the demo, I call it a demo, but they start shredding the bull, and not long after, you just see a mob, and I mean, there was like not an official count, but if I had to guess, maybe between 150 and 200 kids at this jam.
I would have guessed like probably just like 250. Dude,
there was a lot of 250,
people,
but maybe at the peak there's like a little over two.
A little bit over two.
So we're all at Lynch, and all of a sudden you just see a mob of kids just leaving the park, and I'm like, oh, I guess we're starting.
I'm so sorry for cars that day.
Oh man, grab your bag.
You didn't want to drive there this day.
Dude, you grab your bag, and all of a sudden you're just in a line. You look forward, all you can see is scooters. All the way down.
Dude,
you look back behind you, same thing.
Dude, it was so sick.
The number of times we lost each other and then just linked up after.
Yeah, it was like, hey, that's cool. Here's Cody. Like, I remember like at one point you just had my bag for like an hour and a half. I didn't.
Man, I had your bag on one shoulder, I had mine on the other, and I was calling the tricks on the mic at this point. It's like so funny, man.
Dude, multi-productive. That's crazy.
So we dip from Lynch, mob of kids, kids and dudes and like girls too,
and mans,
just everybody. And there was even a shout out to the moms. There was 2 or 3 moms that I was talking to,
shout out to them
who were just biking around, following their kids. Like, oh yeah, I'm a scooter mom.
Dude, I actually saw like
it was
one
so
guy
cool,
on
man.
like a motorcycle just doing wheelies.
Dude, that was I think that was one of Garrett's boys, or one of maybe one of the New York boys. I think he was a local, but he was whipping around on his little Yamaha. I think it was.
That's pretty.
And he just kept popping wheelies and stuff, and I kept making jokes. I was like, he clearly didn't. He saw Scooter Jam, didn't get the right memo. You know what I mean?
Forgot about this.
But he was cruising, and we'll get to that story later. But we pull up to the first spot. It's just this little flat ledge with a cool iron. It was
a pretty good warm up spot.
It was cool.
Actually,
yeah, it was perfect for a spot.
I would have loved to actually like ride this one just like to get clips on it.
If I had to give a best trick at that spot, Justin Phillips did pretty well, but Scott,
Scott did
that fakey
backflip, whip backflip.
Yeah, he came in fakey. It was like I guess it would have been a backflip, and then whipped and then landed back on it. We're not having a debate
again.
We're not going to get into that now. It's too much.
Fakey backflip with backflip.
It was actually so sick. Yeah,
dude.
He crushed it.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
It was
really
cool.
Good.
And then, so that ledge was kind of fun. I should have done a blunt. Didn't end up because I had your bag, my bag. I was like, meh.
And no insurances.
Exactly. I also was not trying to get mangled at this jam.
Let's not try this thing.
It looked pretty rusty. You know what I'm saying?
It did. Look cool though.
Probably would have slid, but it definitely would have been risky. So that was the first spot. It was fun. And then again, all right, we're out of here. Boom, just a mob of kids flying down. And what's crazy about a street jam, if you've never been to a big one, because there's a difference between the ones that have like 50, 75 people and the ones that have like 200 plus people. When you're whipping down the road, all of a sudden cars and street lights become irrelevant.
Like, yeah,
it doesn't even matter.
Scooters.
There's so many people whipping down the road. You got cars honking everywhere left and right.
Oh, dude, people were just pissed. And you got people taking so many Snapchats.
The craziest thing was, like, at one point we passed by a bunch of cops, and they were just, like, giving us thumbs up, like, man, go for it. We're not going to stop 200 kids.
Like,
so all the cars there, the cops were like, no, just let them by. And it's like 5 minutes of just...
Like, you didn't want to be on that street that
dude, imagine
day,
just being a regular dude coming home from your 9 to 5, like... stopped at a light and you've missed 2 times, the light's gone green and then red and then back to green and then back to red, and there's still just mob of scooter kids
like
flying by.
imagine
You're just
like getting late to work. It's like, why are
what's
you
going
late?
on, man?
Like, dude, I swear I got stopped by like 300 scooter kids, man.
And
That shit was stupid.
You got people yelling, "We're calling the cops right now!" Like the cops are right there; they're not doing anything.
No, they're really close. Try your best, lady.
Yep, it was crazy. And the second spot, what was this? It was that wall ride, right? Like the wall ride with the bench.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry, Mike Homan. I hit him.
You hit. Oh yeah, you bumped into Mike Homan at that
I
spot.
did like knock out Mike Homan. I am so sorry,
Yeah,
dude.
shout out to Mike. Did not know he was that short.
I know, but like
Similar
dude.
effect to like Clit, who's here this weekend. Funny enough, and Jordan. If you've seen them ride, they shred, and their scooters are like dimensioned, so it looks normal. But when you meet them in person, like,
Dude,
oh, you're at my shoulders, dude. What the hell?
Mike has like the Lagage grips. Like if you didn't know,
yeah.
Lagage has these tiny little grips. They're like, I think, like 2 inches long.
Yep.
Big max.
Oh, not even.
Not even like an inch and a half.
It's crazy. So like, like Lachlan, he rides these tiny little grips, and what's crazy is he's got like his I guess
It just
pinky
fits like
finger-
3 of his last.
Three of
fingers.
his last fingers are on the grips, but then his thumb and his index are what's holding the metal of the bar.
So, like,
and
it's super scary to do
but
bar
what's
spin.
crazy is if you've ever shook his hand, he's got like tough skin right here. So all of his skin right here is like super beefy and strong from holding on to his bars all the time.
It's so sick.
It's crazy,
It's
dude.
amazing,
It's
actually.
the coolest thing. So shout out to Mike as he rides similarly. And anytime you're throwing a bar, like you say,
Oh, dude, he throws so many bar spins. I don't
They're
know.
good, too.
Like Lagage does some. Like Lachlan is really, really amazing on a scooter. Like I don't see the guy do that many bar spins. Like
he does something.
yeah,
he does
like
some.
I think like this little thing has like some hacks for bar twists. Like you just like spin the metal, not the
But you're
grip.
on the metal, right? Because there's obviously less friction between your hand and the metal. Unless you've got the tough skin like Lachlan. But
Oh boy.
so we're at this spot, and it's like a banked wall ride with a bench in the middle and another wall ride. And it was a bit of a hard spot to ride, especially
Like,
because there's
a
so many
lot of
people.
people. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
so
you didn't
there's no
have
run
much
up, no
time.
landing.
I tried like one trick. I did like wall ride downhill and just ended up like knocking Mike Homan.
Yeah, and it was at this
I am
point that I was
sorry.
like, I could see Jared was on the mic, and he also kind of wanted to ride, and Garrett was on the mic too, but like, there's
Like,
no one like.
Yeah, but like people just started to go like to the spot like just I think it was like 10 feet away. It was just a rail and just Logan Fuller did a front 50 whip on it.
Yeah, on that one
And
down
just like
rail.
like people just shredded like the wall ride spot, and then 2 seconds after the guy just started to like put his scooter on a caveman. He
Yeah.
just like I think he went on the wall and just did a backflip and tried to go on his scooter.
Yeah,
that
and
was the most amazing
actually
thing
never
ever.
even seen something like that. So like you said, he's holding the deck in one hand, his one grip in the other, and he runs up this wall ride, backflips off, which in itself,
Dude, it's
isn't
basically
actu-
parkour.
It's not actually that hard to do, but
I
he's
wouldn't
got
say
his
that.
scooter in his it's doable if you know how to do it. I was a loser in high school, so I used to go to like the gymnastics club, and we learned to run up the wall and backflip off. That was like what we did because there's nothing to
It's
do.
actually doable. But
It's
like,
super doable, but
going
he's
on
got
with
his
a
scooter
scooter.
within your hands, and where it gets crazy is when you're upside down. As soon as you've like leaned back, you can see where you're gonna land. That's fine, but he's now got to let go of the scooter, put it under him, get his hand back on the other grip, and land on it.
It's some
this
crazy
part.
stuff.
This part is basically impossible.
Dude, I want to see that trick landed. I
Man,
don't know who that guy is, but he's a shredder.
Man, he was getting close. He kept landing with his feet beside the deck. He could see he wasn't quite
have, like,
committing, and there was 2 or
10
3
attempts.
times he actually got the hand back on the grip, feet on the deck,
and
and his
he
feet
just
just blew
slipped
off.
out.
Yeah, and then he broke his scooter, and then someone gave him another one. But I kept saying, give him a smaller scooter because the smaller scooter would be easier to hold on to, I thought. But he gave it a bunch of good goes.
You have some
and-
kids on like
That was
the
really cool.
Aztec Hydra deck could have worked.
yeah, Hydra deck
swear.
with like some little T-bars cut down.
It's so light.
It's so light. I whipped one the other day. It didn't even feel like there's anything there.
Like, you know how I just cannot finger whip? I can finger whip a Hydra deck flat. Fun fact.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah, dude, it's
Dang,
so easy.
I got to try one. Maybe I could master my full whips. I've done a full whip in my life, and you've seen it.
Oh, dude, that was the best moment ever.
So we finished up with this wall ride, bench wall ride with
And we're
homie
like,
having almost done a caveman backflip to land on the scooter. I don't even know what to call it.
Really, really tight. But like,
Yeah, it
we're
was
heading
dope.
to the next spot, which
And
is
the next
like a
spot, which
little
was the
handicap rail.
handicap rail, and there was the other rail that wasn't even supposed to be a spot. So we'll start with the handicap rail. It's like a handicap rail with like a bench beside it.
It's actually like a double rail.
So it's like, that's what I'm saying. So it's like the handicap rail, but beside it, there's like another rail, and it's the perfect, one of those spots that the perfect width that you can literally inside 50, you could call it.
Oh,
almost,
dude,
right?
exactly.
So everyone's there throwing down, and it's at this point where Jared got in on the action. Garrett was off the mic, and I was like, yo, give me that thing. And that's when I started.
People were just
calling
like,
out tricks.
okay.
They're like,
alright.
who's this guy? And they start calling out tricks like, it's the Trynyty guy. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it
Oh,
makes
good.
sense.
Cool, that works.
We're good.
And man, some of the stuff that went down on that spot was actually pretty wild.
Oh, dude, like at one point, just like I just remember seeing Jake pulling up and just going inside 50 like first time. I'm like, oh yeah, he's good.
Yep.
And I'm just like, he just sat down in a 50-50.
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
sat his butt on a scooter.
Well, it's not that
in-
it's one of the only spots where you could do that type of thing because you've got your wheel literally in the middle and then both sides of your deck.
Dude,
in
it's
a
still
50
crazy.
on either
It's still
side. Yeah.
crazy.
So he like sits down, hands off, gets back up, bar spins out. Pretty cool.
Dude, that was actually like a really, really cool spot.
Oh, there's a
I
lot
did,
of
like
dope spots.
a couple little baby tricks.
So there's basically 3 spots at this one spot actually because
Yeah,
you've got
like the
you've
double
got
set.
you've got the double set which was big. It was like a flat 4 or something like that.
Like the flat was really,
the flat
really,
was
really
long. Yeah, so there's people doing like a 180 down and then like a half cab trick down the second set, and then a couple people actually jumped the whole double
Actually
set.
did it.
You were in the train
yeah.
of people, yeah.
It was like Garrett, the guy plus Jordan. And then I just kind of followed. I was like, dude, that's long, but it's doable. It's crazy.
Yep, it was wild. It
was
and
like,
what,
oh, I
but what
jumped
was cool was I think the spot was really supposed to be just the handicap rail with the bench, and then all of a sudden, I think it was maybe Riley.
Oh,
or,
dude, Riley just
so
like
Riley
went
just-
for a board slide on that double
So
kink, which is monster.
beside this double set we're talking about, which is literally like maybe 25, 30 feet back from the handicap rail,
Yeah.
all of a sudden Riley's jumped on this rail and everyone's like, oh,
Whoa.
I guess that's part of the spot too. So once everything kind of mellowed down at the handicap spot, everyone kind of moved over, and all of a sudden there was a session on this huge down flat down
Oh, dude,
that
it's
didn't even
big.
look like a
It's
spot.
big.
So shout out to
Well,
Riley for jumping on
It
it.
looked like a spot, but pretty dangerous
Like
spot.
a spot if you've got mad pop.
No, it was actually doable, but like Riley's game is stupid. Like there's like Riley's actually a local from Boston, which
Yep.
is super low key.
Just
Nobody
shout
really
out to
knows
Riley because I
him,
don't
but
think he's been riding all that long. And as soon as we got to Andrew's
pretty
place,
sure he's like 16 or something
he's
like that.
pretty young, yeah, and he snowboards, I guess, too.
He's
So-
good at anything. Like he can.
It seems like a
skateboard.
natural. A bunch of people at Andrew's place are like, yeah, wait till you see this Riley kid. And I'm like, who? Because I know pretty much not everybody,
like,
but we
but
know most people.
We
They're
have
like, no,
we have our scootering knowledge.
they're like,
I
he's
guess.
a local, like underground, but he's just a natural. He can do anything. And we rock up right away. You just see him on this white Atlas deck, just throwing down. I was like, that's that
No,
Riley.
he didn't
kid.
have an Atlas.
What
deck.
did he have?
I'm pretty sure he had. Otherwise, he had like a TSI book
I
cutter.
thought he had a North.
Dude, it didn't look like a North.
I don't remember.
I don't remember
He had
either.
a
But the
big
deck
old
was
street
wide.
deck, and he was killing it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, but he was amazing to watch. Like, I was like, dude, that guy has some big tricks going on.
Yeah, the kid was a natural. He actually really impressed me. So he jumps on this gigantic down flat down, and at the same time, you get some people tricking, like I say, down the first set and then half cabbing down the second set, and you got other people. I think Garrett or someone jumped the whole double set
Yeah,
first,
dude.
and then there was a train of like you, Garrett, and Jordan. You said.
Yeah, plus another guy we met. Like, he's a cool guy.
Yeah. So there's just this train of people jumping this gigantic set, and this is the only spot right around the time after the triple jump, and people are still sessioning this down flat down that the cops actually rolled up.
Jake did like a front
Front board.
and whip and pop over.
He popped
didn't
over at
think
one
he
point
wanted
too,
to do
yeah.
that, but that rail looked hard.
Oh, it's huge. And it's funny because our homie we were talking about earlier on the Yamaha or whatever, like motorized scooter, he was kind of hidden, and the cops showed up, and he just dipped
straight.
one time, and it was crazy. There's so many kids and so much going on. The cops didn't even notice him. He just dipped around and met us back up at the next street, and we just started mobbing to the next spot. It was
Oh,
hilarious.
dude. And like the spot afterwards, I'm pretty sure was it like
The handrail where
No,
the
it
kid
was
got bucked. No,
No, it was the school. The school.
the school was after that.
Yeah, like with the double handrail.
Oh,
and,
okay,
like, the
okay, so
mani pad.
yeah,
So
so
like
it was-
we rode like for a good 25 minutes.
Man,
shout out
some
to Boston Street.
First off, didn't we do like 26 miles or something like that
Dude,
of pushing?
we rolled a lot.
We traveled so far between spots, and a bunch of times, not gonna lie, your boy was at the back. I was like, if there's any youngins, I'm gonna make sure they make it. And two, I'm tired. I'm dead tired.
Dude, but the Duncan was still in me, so I was pretty good with it.
Oh yeah, there's actually two little homies. Shout out to them. I didn't get their names, but if I wasn't at the back, like I was, kind of like so they would have got lost. They had lost the
stuff.
pack. I was like, boys, we're going this way. And they're like, are you sure? I was like, yep, follow me. And then sure enough, we get back to the pack. It's like, you guys are lucky I was there because they were gonna get lost.
Oh boy, poor little guys.
Oh, they were chill. It was funny, but
No, actually, but like so we rolled up at like this spot. It was like a little middle school, I guess so.
Some kind of school, yeah.
Yeah, but like there was like two handicap rails, but like super low.
They were
like,
super low if you hit them from the side, or if you came straight on, they were tall, super tall. It was one over the
Actually.
other, actually.
But it was really doable and like.
Oh, yeah.
we started to ride it. I did like a board heel after a couple tries, but it was pretty long actually.
A lot of people were getting buck on that. Like Justin was throwing down, Jake was throwing down.
Like Justin
Austin
wanted to
threw
do
down.
like a 50 to like front board on
Front
the
board
rail.
on the other side. The
Like-
gap was like he does those a lot, where he'll go in a 50 and then jump over to another rail.
Like the
But
rail
this
was
gap
really weird. Like
wide.
it just started to like bend at certain points, so like he
Yeah.
couldn't really hop onto it.
He gave it a good go, and a few times he got close. And he also did like at one point he did like back 50
50,
bar, back lip, 2-7 or something. Like he still threw down super hard.
Oh,
Jason
dude.
Jason Sheedy too was
That guy's a monster.
holding
Like,
some back lips on that
like,
thing.
What like kind of blew my mind was that the guy is actually like, hurt. He had a big ankle injury at the time, and
Yeah.
he's just still shredded it.
Still throwing down.
Oh, that was crazy to watch. Then after there was like, oh dude, Austin Coates.
Man, Austin threw down on that spot too. He's going like backboard, back lip tricks. I think he was doing.
Yeah,
I don't even
board
remember,
backflip fake. But like, if you've seen that hard, you're like that rail was pretty high.
And Austin is not a tall dude, but he's got some mad
Massive.
pop.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
everything.
and
Dude, that
he's
guy's a
also
monster. He's
16,
a monster.
so he's got those kid springs. You know what I mean?
I still got him. I'm like 19.
you do. I know those are gone.
I got like, oh, you got to work on him, bro. You got to work on
It's
him.
so tough. I used to have more pop, but there's no way I was getting on that rail the way you guys were. So I was
could.
on the mic calling the tricks because I know all the tricks. Counts for something.
Double buttercup, the fakey bar spin,
That one
board
I
slide.
do not know.
I say stuff. You still got it.
So there's like these two handicap rails, and right beside there's actually like
A
a bit of
little
a drop with like
mani
a
pad, like the
circle.
drop.
It's short. It is like a mani pad, but it's like
It's
a
cool.
it's a
It's
circle,
cool.
yeah. And people were getting buck over it. I think Nate Gendron did a whip finger.
It
Or was that
wasn't
Brian?
Nate
It
Ginger,
was
it
Brian.
Brian
Griffin. Yeah, did whip finger, and it was clean.
Oh, dude, he did triple whip, I guess. Like a lot of people, dude, Tuddy killed it.
Tuddy killed it. Man, Tuddy was trying to come in, go fake 180, fakey mani, and then full cab out to fakey.
He got it, actually, I guess so.
I think he was trying to bar something after
He
that.
did
'cause
like
kept
a
trying it.
3 manu 180 bar.
That was dope too, yeah.
And like at some point I was like, dude, I can try something fakey nose manual.
Yep.
So I went like fakey nose bar. It took like 10 minutes.
We did fakey, like 180, fakey nosy, like cab bar.
Yep.
Yeah, you came up 40. I was actually pretty wild.
Dude, the clip is actually looking cool. It's on my phone. Got it.
Oh, you've got it.
I'll
Man,
airdrop it to you later.
Shout out to all the dudes who were there filming. There was the one who I didn't catch his name, but he had a cast on, and I guess he's actually quite the shredder.
Oh yeah. He's like Seavog or something like that. On
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
he-
he's sick, dude.
He's a homie.
He still rode like all the way through the jam.
Yeah,
with
he was
a cast
cruising
on his foot.
Having like I've got two of those boots actually, and those things are expensive. So if you ever break your foot or your ankle and they give you a boot cast, hold on to it because those things are expensive. And he did the whole day like with that on
That's
a scooter,
actually
pushing with
crazy.
his other like it's so
Mongo.
hard, so long, dude.
He still killed it. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
sick to watch. And then after like that spot, we shredded for like a good like I guess 15 minutes. No,
It was a
we
good,
took like
good
a good
20 minutes.
20, 30
Yeah,
minutes.
It was a decent track.
And then like just like I talked to Gary and just said, dude, we're gonna head out to this other spot, which is like a cool rail. He said like I posted that on my Instagram. I was like, oh, dude, that rail. Like we just get there and people started to get buck.
Man, first off, one of the and it wasn't that far trek. This was one of the closer distances,
Yeah.
which was cool. It wasn't a huge handrail, but it was big enough that like anything you wanted to try was still pretty legit.
Dude.
And a lot of dope tricks went down. Shout out to I think it's Dave Ferguson, right?
Dude, he did like
Backlip heel. So
Logan did
clean.
like a whip board. That little kid, was like I guess like 4 feet tall or something.
He was
like
tiny.
that.
Did backboard.
No, he did
front board on his Aztec deck.
Dude,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
so
yeah.
crazy. He grinded so close to the neck.
Yeah, I thought
Oh, that was
he
dangerous.
fell once or twice and then went up and got it.
And then like that
But-
one
well,
guy.
before we get into that, but shout out to Dave Ferguson because of all the tricks that went down in the jam. I think the backlip heel was one of the hardest tricks that went low.
oh, dude,
key,
he has
like,
them so good.
but that was so sick, and it
Dave
was like
has some
that one was like
magic.
low key one of the best tricks of the jam. It was gnarly.
I would say that, but
Yeah.
like, dude, his foot was basically broken too.
Yeah,
Which is crazy. He's like not even riding right now. I said, dude, the Boston Jam killed me so bad. I'm
So
not doing it.
at this point, quite a few people had thrown down on this rail. Justin was trying to get buck. Badger was trying some 50 or some Smith stuff.
Yeah, some Smithy,
Some
Smith,
Smith
some Smithy stuff.
And then the one bad injury of the jam, unfortunately, it was a young homie, and I didn't actually see him fall. I was behind the
saw it.
set, and maybe you can give me a better
So
view
like
of what happened.
the kid
but
actually like just went for backside board slide and
Didn't get over the
instead
rail.
of the deck getting on the rail, like his heels got on the rail.
yeah,
So he just like went straight face plant. And it was like, oh, and he started to make that little.
Oh, it was the
like,
weird noise, and it was
weird
like
noise.
it was one of those slams where you saw the kid like. So from my perspective, we're behind the set,
Yeah,
so
we
we
are.
can see the rail, and I see him jump, and as soon as he jumps, I see his back leg come off, and that's never good. And then I see his front wheel doesn't get over the rail. Also not good unless you let go of your scooter, which he did not.
He did not.
So at this point, he's got his hands on the scooter, not on the rail, jumping downstairs with one foot on.
Face first.
And then you just hear, it's one of those slams where you hear him hit the ground, and everyone goes silent.
You go like, ooh.
And the next sound you hear is like, I can't even attempt to reproduce
no,
it.
I wouldn't even reproduce
It's,
it. Like
a young kid who's, at the time, we didn't know this, but broken his jaw.
yeah, and like plus there was like he broke his teeth too.
Yeah, so he'd like cracked some teeth, broken his jaw, which nobody knew. Because like, again, I only saw him go up and I saw him go down. Because the set was big enough that once he was out of my line of view, I didn't see, but I heard the smack. And then you heard the sounds he was making, and they were not pretty.
You were like, I look at you, I was like, oh, this is not good. He's like, no, I know this sound. This is not good. We went to look on him, and like, actually, he said, dude, I broke his teeth. He was starting to like bleed pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, the one thing that did kind of bum me out, there was a few dudes, I'm not going to name any names, obviously, but they were like some of the pros, if you would, that were like really trying, like, yo, get up, get out of the way, get out of the way. The kid had a broken jaw. You've got to be more sensitive to like.
I was like talking
he was
to
young
Logan
too,
and stuff. Like, dude, I was like, yo, we got to go get some milk. He's like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so like that, like the priority at this point is not get him out of the way so we can keep riding. It's like make sure he's okay. The dude, like, we didn't know at the time, but he broke his jaw.
Dude, I just remember like looking at the kids like, dude, it's not that bad. Look at Logan, bro. You're gonna get good.
The teeth. So his teeth were buck. His jaw was snapped. Well, maybe not snap, but he cracked it or whatever. It was pretty buck. And turns out he was all right because Andrew knew him, and Andrew he ended up hitting up Andrew saying he was all right. And then not long after that, we ended up moving on to the next spot. But definitely, anytime
like the vibe was a little weird.
See, the only time I've ever had like a similar vibe to that was we had a jam in Montreal a while back. And there was a kid who was doing the drop that you actually did before anybody else had ever done. Cheesy Gary. So Benji, a while back, did this huge 180 bar off of the roller for the box jumps. So this
like,
roller
I guess,
is huge.
12 foot.
It's big. It's made to get you speed for the box jumps. And you and most
like,
people who are
smart. If you want to jump
it
it to flat, the run-up is terrible.
Yeah, I think Jake's the only one I've really seen jump it to flat. Usually you catch the because there's a quarter pipe right beside you. You can catch like some of that transition.
Yeah.
So this Cheesy Gary, he's actually really good. He's
getting good. Like,
he's a good
really
rider,
good.
And he had done it before to whip and stuff. And at this other jam, he decided I'm gonna 3 it. And here's the thing, like the video.
Got a little cocky with me.
Well, the video went viral too, because like undialed, everyone posted it, and it was rough. And the same sounds he was making were the same sounds the kid who broke his jaw made.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was
same
like,
sounds,
oh, dude.
Same sounds. So he tries to 3 it, and this is one thing that a lot of people didn't know, because a lot of people saw this clip go viral, because not just Undialed posted, a ton of people posted it. And it was this wicked slam. But what most people don't know is that was his second try. His first try,
he's like
he basically did it. He basically did it though. So he like spun the 3, landed, smashed his face off the bars, and then fell to the side. But he put it to his feet. But what happened the second time, and I literally
half committed.
And there's a kid who just started in the shop, Ethan Detunis, like a young dude on the come up here in Montreal, a young strider. Shout out to Ethan.
He's like 14, but he looks like 20.
I looked at him and I was like, I don't know, dude. I got a bad feeling this is the type of drop that like you can't be messing around with. He's like, what do you mean? Sure enough, Gary rolls up, tries to 3. And I don't know if he hesitated. I don't know if he didn't commit or whatever. But he didn't have the speed.
He jumped a little too early. So his front wheel clipped on the 360.
So he spins his 180. His front wheel clips the top of the side of the roller, and he falls to the side.
He kind of landed barely
12 feet, just banged to the side. I think he had like broken his elbow.
Broke his leg.
And messed up his wrist.
No, he broke his leg, I'm pretty sure, too.
I don't think he broke his leg, but...
like, he had something going on with his lower butt.
Shout out to Gary, because not long after, as soon as he was cleared to ride, he was riding again, and he's still killing it.
He's still killing it.
But that was the most comparable...
But apparently he just got hurt again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He gets $2, that kid.
He gets $2. Stupid.
So that was
those times.
That was like the only time I've had a similar moment where like someone slamming like that just drains the energy of like... what's going on.
But, exactly.
But it was a good recovery because, like, I think it was smart. I don't know whose decision it is ultimately. Obviously, I'm there kind of on the mic chilling. You're riding. Garrett's kind of running the show, but I don't know if it was him or one of the homies who was like, yeah, let's move on. Like, nobody after a homie slammed kept hitting that rail. We actually moved on at this point.
Nobody wanted to hit that rail again.
No, it was bad vibes. So we moved on to the next spot, which was like a college, I think, right?
Oh, dude, that spot
that
was
dope rail.
Sick. Like,
so
it was like a 4 block?
Yep.
and then like there was some stairs on the side, and just like the rail was kind of crossed on the side, so if you just hit the spot straight,
Yeah.
you could go over the rail.
But what was cool was because the rail was like really at an angle, it actually wasn't that high. So
So
anyone wanted to jump into a 50 and do those types of combos, it was actually super doable.
Killed it on
Everyone was killing on the 50s. Justin too did 50 over 50 180. Predator 180.
How the fuck?
I don't know.
He has
some
some
buck
good
shit.
balance, bro. That guy's
Yeah,
crazy.
Justin really impressed me that day, actually.
Oh, dude.
A lot of people did that. Riley kid, who we had never heard of, insane. Obviously, Dave, backlip heel, insane.
Dude, Badger killed it on it.
Jason Sheedy, I'd never seen ride in person. Super good. Austin. I mean, we'll get to it, but man,
But
the
it just
kid's a
doesn't make any
monster.
sense.
Like we said, watching Logan and Jake ride the bowl is literally a spectacle. It's basically a demo. If you haven't seen that type of riding in a bowl before,
Dude, that's why scooting
hard to
should be in
appreciate.
the X Games, just like both of these guys.
The problem is, though, if it was, it would need to be people at that level on that type of obstacles. If you had Jake, maybe Cooper, Logan, like the right people riding a bowl, it would
Ethan
look
Kirk.
It would look good.
Ethan Kirk, we gotta.
Ethan shreds the bowl pretty hard too.
Oh, dude, it's
and
crazy.
Jackson Birkeland. So if you had these types of riders in their element, right, that's what could be crazy. And then you get the park dudes doing their ISA whatever. Not that it's bad, but it's you got them doing the thing. And like when I went to France for the Nitro, watching Ryan and Rumit and Richard and all them hit that mega kicker. It's basically, it looks like a jump that was built for a dirt bike.
But
a big
no,
one.
dude, you ride it on a scooter.
And they're just sending
It's
it.
like
So that's like
toy going really bad.
So if you had like people at that level riding their type of thing, it could definitely be a thing. But what we got to be careful of is like who ends up going and who winds up representing the sport. Because you watch Jake and Logan do their thing in
We
the
need
bowl.
some counseling on that.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, what we can. But
Making moves.
all this to say, there's a lot of dudes who weren't all necessarily the biggest names who really stood out that day. It was dope.
Dude, to be honest, and like,
Even Georgie got a trick at that spot too.
dude, Georgie's the man.
Yeah, Georgie's the man.
And like, the thing with that spot is like everybody was hitting the rail. I was like, dude, I want to hit the gap. I was talking to like Jordan. I was like, dude, I want to hit the gap. It looks cool.
Yep.
And he's like, dude, I want to hit it too. So I'm like, hey, let's do it. So we just like, I looked at it. I was like, oh, dude, you can so pull out a 180 out of this. Like, Tuddy's just looking at me. He's like, are you stupid or what? I'm like, I'll be all right.
I got this. So you jumped it once.
I just like choked midway. I was like, oh, dude, we're going a little too, like, and pulled too hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you jitzed the first one, yeah.
Yeah, I pulled too hard. So I was like, hey, we got it next try. So we're just going up, and like, I'm just like, dude, I'm glad I didn't get hurt till now. So I'm just still going for a just, like second try. My foot kind of like slipped off, but looked cool.
Yep.
Yeah, to be honest, that gap was really, really cool. I want to go back. Oh, dude, there's so many things to do on that
Man,
rail.
Boston is like
Fun fact,
so many
I got
spots too.
featured on the Evil Corp Instagram because I was in the background of Badger's clip.
Hey.
Making moves.
So that spot was pretty dope, and a lot of people went over it too, dude. Some crazy stuff. There's that
That
the
guy
one
you tried to finger whip, but actually just did a sack tap.
Yeah, so obviously if you're doing a finger whip, you pull the deck up to smack it, and he ended up missing the smack and basically just pulled the deck up to his balls and then threw it back down and landed on it. Landed the finger whip
That was
after.
actually so
and
sick.
I think again it was Brian, right, who did the whip bar. So
Brian
so
did
Brian
whip
did bar
bar.
and Holman did bar
Bar
whip,
whip.
or the other way around. It was one of the two.
Tuddy did double bar.
W did Teddy bar, yeah.
He did bar.
And that was a dope spot, but that was a before last spot, right?
Yeah, like, so I was talking to Garrett, said, "Hi, dude, next spot is gonna be Buck." I was like, "All right,
Man.
what is it?"
Yep.
It's a 17
stair. Yeah.
stair set. I was like, "Oh."
But before we move on, because this was the before last spot, and it's at this point that one of Garrett's homies looks at me. He's like, "Yo, should we announce on the mic to people that cars at Lynch are being towed?" And I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah. So usually they never tow cars, but like a ton of cars at Lynch are getting towed." I said, "Well, my car's at Lynch."
So we're just like, "Ew."
And then I went to see Andrew. Like, yo, apparently the towing cars at Lynch. He's like, nah, man, it'll be chill. Like I said, as long as we're behind the corner, we'll be good. So now for the entire rest of the jam in the back of my head, I'm like, man, if my car gets towed, that's gonna be
we're so fucked. We're
fat
so
fine,
fucked.
a fat fine. We have to go back tomorrow because we both work Monday. Like, hopefully my car didn't get towed. So we finish at this. It's like a technical school or a college or whatever. It was dope.
Yeah.
And we're going to the last spot, and everyone knows it's the last spot. And I keep hearing rumors of the 17 stand. We pull up, and it's just like almost like the outside of a mall. And it's not an ideal run up, not an ideal landing.
Dude, there was like that little bump before the stairs.
Yeah.
Kind of like freaked me out. I was down to hit him, like, all right, dude, I don't have any insurances. If I get fucked up, I am really fucked up.
I also, your scooter, you break more parts than anybody I know, and you hadn't broken one in a while, so you were due to break apart. So I was like, man, if you don't want to jump this, I don't even know if I trust your fork, your clamp, I don't know what, but
Dude,
something
my scooter's right on my left. I'm scared right now.
Man, I was like, I don't want you to get hurt because your scooter breaks, and 17 stairs like this, man, is like...
You can get hurt.
You probably would
bad.
be okay, but you would get pretty bucked. So everyone's there. It's a good 10, 15 minutes. Nobody's, maybe not 10, but like 5 minutes. Nobody's jumped it. Austin's eyeing it up. And boom, this kid comes in hot. He's 16 years old, just been flown in for a jam. Just got on Aztec not that long ago.
Oh, dude.
And he sent a 17 stairs. Boom, throws the whip.
I think he
catches it, throws the bar. Full commit, first tee, slams.
Oh, dude. Like, I think he tried it like 3 times or
3
something.
times he tried it. So
yeah,
he
tried
gets
it
up,
like 3 times.
tries it again. Every single time he threw the whip, caught it, threw the bars, landed a bit off. And let me tell you this too.
One moment, like, I think it was like the last try he actually tried it. He fucking landed on the stairs, dude. He clipped the stairs.
Yeah, this was the before last try. He clipped the last stair. Yeah,
Dude, that was crazy.
it was wild. And here's the thing. I was telling this to Scott because Scott's like closer to my edge, like 25, 26. I was like, man, when you're 16 like that and you fall, you just kind of bounce off the ground. I swear to God. And I don't know at what point it changed. Maybe when I was in my mid 20s. Now I don't bounce. Now I splat when I fall, dude.
You make one with gravity fucks you up.
Dude, so I'm watching this kid like huck his meat. Like it's unbelievable. And just bouncing off the ground, gets up and keeps going. I'm like, man, I miss when I could do that, dude. Because now when I fall like that, it's splat. End of session, out for a month at least. And he tried it 3 times. And sure enough, dude, I think between one of his tries, Tutty too gets in on the action.
Yo, oh, dude, but that was like the funniest thing.
Tutty's a tall dude too.
But I really wanted to like be, hey, dude, I want to try something on it. But like just Tutty said, I just looked at Tutty go on it. He just tried a bar spin. Just like one bar spin.
Dude, he did a good bar spin, caught it, landed it, and basically just the impact was like,
dude,
boom.
Dude, the video of that clip just went like the world star. Dude, he went like to many places.
Yeah.
Dude, because like a fun thing, there was like an Asian lady with like her kid.
At this point too, we should mention we're at like the mall. There's
Dude,
like a big
there's
gallery.
a lot of
There's,
people
like, a big
watching.
There's a ton of people who weren't
There's
in the
like-
jam just watching. Like, what the hell is going on?
And dude, there's like some street rats and shit.
And among these people, like you're saying, is this little family of Asians with their young kid. He's probably like 5, maybe
And like
6.
the mom is just like behind, and like there's a little kid forward, but he's just like in the front row where everybody's watching, and you just don't want to get a little further because you're gonna get like hurt basically.
Mm-hmm.
So like Tutty's trying a bar spin, and like apparently the impact is way too intense, so he just like slipped
huge,
backward,
man.
and the scooter starts flying, and like one of Garrett's friend, which I kind of became the hero of the day, kind of
Man, and this guy doesn't even scooter anymore. He had just pulled up because I guess he was with Garrett or whatever. And like you say, if you haven't seen the video, I could try to link that in the bio too. But you see Tutty do the bar, lands, scooter explodes from under him, flies directly for this kid. And had it hit him, it would have done some damage.
Oh, dude,
and
he would have got the kid a big concussion or something.
Reaches
like that.
out, bang, catches it by the deck, maybe a couple inches before the kid's
dude,
face.
it was
just
like
bang.
like
it was such a
this
clutch catch.
close, like-
it was so close, dude.
And just at a certain moment, like the mom just did. I was like, "Hey, say thank you. The guy saved your kid.
The guy
bro."
saved your kid's life. It's, you know, you saw
your
you
kid
saw
would have been
people were
like
jumping
damaged
down.
forever.
Yeah, no, he would have gotten smoked. Just smacked the mic. That's
He
what would
just
have
got
happened to the kid's face, dude. It was not pretty. So Tutty tries, and at this point, there's only Austin and Tutty who've tried to jump this.
And
crazy
then
set.
there's like Austin just like going for the whip bar, and everybody he just sticks it, and everybody's like, "Holy shit!"
It was hilarious too because he lands it, and then Garrett jumps on the mic. He's like, "Anybody else gonna jump this?" No, didn't think so. Okay. So he ends up,
Apparently,
like,
Garrett just went to top after he just looked at it. He's like, "Am I gonna risk my whole
he was eyeing
life?"
it up. Maybe heel, double heel, whatever, because that's his shit. And his double heels are beautiful.
Oh, dude, it's crazy.
But ultimately, he was like, "Nah, I'm not about it.
I'm not about
not
it.
about it." So he ends up last minute, kind of being like, "Well, Austin just did that," and he had thrown down at a few other spots. So Austin wins, and then Jake in second, and Justin in third.
Because like Jake shredded the whole day.
Definitely think that the rankings were pretty good. I think if there was honorable mentions, that Riley, like we said, I was a bit surprised Riley didn't.
I would
end
go
up in
Riley
third.
first place next year.
Maybe not. Well, it depends at what the last spot is, you know.
Dude,
but
have you seen this
Riley
guy's
was
last
really,
clip?
really good. Yeah, I did actually.
Oh, dude, fuck.
So yeah, shout out to Riley because I thought like, yeah, there was a top 3, but like he actually stood out to me a lot because I'd never even heard of him. And Dave Ferguson too. He didn't throw down at every single spot, but as soon as I saw that backflip heel the way he did, I was like, wow, that just blew my mind. So there's like a bunch of other people too. Even Jason Cheedy did not know he was that good until I'd seen him right in person.
No, but Jason Cheedy, like when he's not hurt,
When he's not hurt, he's a monster.
something absolutely amazing to watch, I believe.
So the jam wraps up.
We're
We
going back to
whip back to
Lynch.
Lynch, and the whole time I'm like,
Oh,
man,
dude,
if
something
my
that
car
actually
is towed.
bummed me up, like when we're going back to Lynch, is just like kids, like their attitude.
I actually
like,
did want to touch on this too. So I think it's part to do with like the mob mentality. So like we said, we were like at this point less because
Exactly.
a lot of people left after the third, fourth, fifth spots because their rides or whatever.
Yeah.
But all the real cores were still there. Like we're still 150 strong probably at this point. And a lot of cars are honking, and it's natural to honk because obviously you're not stoked that you're waiting for a bunch of kids to zoom by on scooters to be done. But all of a sudden, you got these young kids, and even some of the older dudes too. Not gonna name names again, but they're yelling shit like, "Oh, suck a dick! Oh, fuck you!" This and that. And it's like,
come on, bro.
you know, we're ruining their day right now. Like
we are
they're
messing up people's life.
They're gonna
just be
honk,
respectful about what you're doing.
It's like if they weren't in their car and you weren't on a scooter surrounded by 150 other scooter riders, do you think you'd really say that to their face?
No, you would
Probably not. No.
Like,
So it definitely bums me out when these young
some
kids are
fucking
going,
12
"Suck a
years old
dick."
kids just look at a lady just trying to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
through. He's just like, suck my dick. I'm like, dude, you're 12.
Dude,
like,
don't say that.
Do you want
man.
me to
It's
call
so
your mom? Come on,
stupid.
dude. Like,
Yeah.
get some respect.
So that kind of bummed me out. But besides that, all in all, it was an amazing jam.
But it was amazing, jam.
Unfortunately, we pull up to Lynch. My car's gone.
Oh, dude, and we're just
Austin's car is gone.
I just see you just like rolling up to where we were parked before, and I just see your scooter flying. You're just like, fuck.
I was pretty cheesed because I knew it was gonna be a fat fine. And Austin, our host, who always rides at Lynch, his car got towed too,
Dude,
along with
Andrew was in hype.
about 12 other cars.
Yeah,
Yeah. Andrew. Did I say Austin? Yeah, Andrew. Andrew's car got towed too. Obviously, he's a local, so he usually knows, but it just didn't work.
It was actually, you just did do this the first time that it ever happens.
So luckily, I keep saying Austin, Andrew ends up going to get his car a bit before us. And then we check, and it's like a 30, 40-minute scooter ride to go get my car.
And we're just like, oh, dude, I'm not down.
I think, like I said, we did something like 26 miles if you calculate all the spots that we had pushed from.
Which
So
is
we're
around
dead
like
at this point.
48 kilometers
It's
or something.
far.
It's
So,
far.
Shout out to my man, Manny Panny.
Dude,
Manny is
crazy.
the homie. Manny saved the day. If it weren't for Manny, we were screwed. Shout out again, my man Manny. I think it's Manny
we hooked
Panny
him
on
up,
Instagram.
bro, but he deserved way much more than
man,
this.
I ended up giving him a bunch of Trynyty stuff, and I wish I had more because he ended up, Andrew gives him his car to take us to go get my car, which has been towed. And had he not done this, we probably would have missed the Speak premiere, which is the last thing we'll touch on because we're a bit tight for time, but if it wasn't for Manny borrowing Andrew's car, which had been towed, to go get my car, which apparently had been towed elsewhere because they towed so many cars, where Andrew's car got towed, there was no more room. So they brought me
apparently,
elsewhere.
Andrew just said, dude, it's not going to cost any money. Like, apparently, because it was a police spot.
So Andrew got lucky because at the towing yard, like I said, it was pretty full because they towed like 12, 13 cars or something like that this day, which apparently doesn't happen much. So Andrew's car, by chance, was parked in a spot reserved for police who have got like a temporary hold on a car. So when he rocked up, they're like, "Oh, that's your car? Yeah, you're good." Andrew didn't have to pay. He was lucky. We did have to pay a U.S. fine, converted to Canadian. It was pretty expensive. We did
I'm
not.
glad you got my money, Cody.
Man, I'm glad you. Well, we split it, which is super dope. But I mean, I threw it all.
Dude, that
on
was
the,
actually so expensive.
It
stupid.
It
shit.
added up pretty quick, and it's definitely an expense we did not expect. But all in all, the experience, the fact that like since Andrew housed us, we didn't have to get an Airbnb or a hotel. It's like. I guess worked out well.
The price.
Exactly. So luckily, I'm obviously pretty cheesed at this point. So Manny, again, my man, we whipped to a Five Guys, rock a burger real quick because we haven't eaten much all day. We haven't at this point. It's
dude,
like,
we're all dehydrated.
Dude, at this point
stuff.
it's like maybe 6:30. We haven't eaten since our Dunkin' at like 11 a.m. And we've been riding all day, sweating buckets, drinking yerbas, a couple brewskis. So
I did not though yet at this point.
Yeah, you kept it chill. And then Manny and us too, we go get our Five Guys, and then I'm like, all right, we're going to the Speak premiere, which is going to be a ride. It's going to be a time. It's going to be super fun. Shout out to the guys at Speak, man.
Dude,
it was
that
dope
premiere
that they put
was
the premiere
amazing.
on.
I'm sorry if the lady was bummed.
Oh, we'll get to that. She was super bummed, and rightfully so, sort of. But we get our Five Guys, and then I was like, Manny, if we're going to take the car and we've got the space, let's go drop my car off so that Benji and I can get sauced with the boys, because I'm not trying to drive so that I can get
kind of sauce.
drunk enough to forget that I have to pay this fine because my car got towed was the plan, right? So we, luckily enough, Manny's like, yep, no problem, cool. Shout out again to Manny. So we whip to Andrews, drop off some stuff, slam a brew, go pick up more, go to the premiere and meet everybody.
I think I gotta actually mention the fact that
I was really hyped to go to Boston because actually Four Locos.
There's
are now
Four Locos
legal.
in the US.
They're not
man.
legal in
Yep.
Montreal and
Yep.
actually all Canada. I believe just in Quebec, which is a province of Canada.
I don't know.
Because we don't have them here anymore, and I was really really stoked to have one that night.
Yep.
Plus a little bit more brewski.
So we rock up and Tuddy's there with this homie too, and we wind up.
Shout out Resi Sessions.
We wind up. I wind up ripping the blunt with them before we go into the premiere. So we missed the first couple minutes and whatever. You've got your loco. I'm going hard on the beers. We're getting real sauced up. And I guess at one point, Nate Gendron got some beer poured on his head, and the lady, because Mike Holman, I think, poured the beer on his head. And,
dude.
So it's in an art gallery, and it's hard to explain, but it's an art gallery. Imagine this studio right now around us, full of paintings on the wall that are worth between $500 and $3,000 all across the wall.
And she was not stoked.
And you've got crammed in there, tight.
Dude,
a bunch of scooter dudes just getting wasted.
Dude, I actually just got to make a mention. Dude, Lewis Hobbs' part was...
Yep.
That one trick. There's that one trick which got me. It's like a double set, and the guy just whipped the roller coaster.
Yeah, it was insane.
Sorry if I'm leaking shit. Dude.
Yeah, we can't talk too much about the parts, but there was
I'm just saying, get hype.
A lot of dope
get
stuff.
Fucking hype.
There's a clip. I won't say anything more than there's a clip with a bus. I don't know if you remember the bus clip.
I do remember.
The bus clip was dope.
I am
Nate Gendron's entire part was very good, and I quite like Dennis. The way Dennis rides. Dennis' part got me
Dennis
super
is
hyped.
A really sick dude. I love this part.
Kong's part too. For real, the entire Talisman full video was amazing.
You know I still have your poster in my bag?
No, you gave me the poster, and you gave me my midnight sticker. And the night we barbecued burgers at my place, I left them outside. And now for twice, I've had 2 midnight stickers in my time. Both of them got wrecked, and my Talisman poster got wrecked because I left it outside and it rained.
I get mine. I'll hook you up.
So the premiere goes on. We finish that up, and everyone heads outside. And I'm helping kind of clean up a little bit because I know what it's like when you have a bunch of scooter riders in a place. And I don't know if it was Dennis organizing it or someone from Speak had obviously organized it. So I'm trying to get as many cans in my bag as I can. And the lady is not having it. She comes inside. She's like, "Yeah, can you go outside and tell them to stop breaking the chairs?" And I'm like, "They're breaking chairs?" We come outside, dude. There's these plastic chairs. Dudes sitting on it. People taking a run and start diving, kicking chairs, just breaking chairs. And I'm like, me and Jared are like, "Boys, we got to stop breaking chairs." And then Logan Ford comes up. He's like, "Man, they're not going to stop. This is the calmest premiere I've ever been to." I was like, "Really, dude? This is pretty disrespectful. We're breaking their shit. What's going on?" He's like, "Trust me, dude. This is nothing." And I was like, "Wow."
That's actually so stupid. But I just remember, I took, someone's scooter and I just, try to go fakey and it just hit my head so fucking bad.
Dude, I remember I had to pee super bad, but the lady was so mad I didn't want to go back inside, so I ran around and found a spot way down the road.
Just 5 minutes after the cops came in.
Yeah, the cops came in and I've got a beer in my hand and I'm like, I've already had my car towed. I'm not trying to get a drinking in public or some kind
plus,
of fine.
I do have a beer in my hand too. I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot.
Well, I literally asked the one cop. I was like, do I need to put this down? He's like, just get out of here and you're good. And I was like, my man, just slammed it and we went. I was like, I'll pour this out right now if I have to. You tell me what I got to do. And
we're
just
in the car afterwards. We're just but we're fucking 6 to go in the car.
Yeah, so we squeezed in the car. Andrew at this point has been partying all day. Winds up yuking on the side of the highway twice. We all decided all right, we got to get Andrew home. But we're halfway to Garrett's at this point, which is on the other end of the spectrum to Andrew's.
I wouldn't believe it was that far. It's so far.
It's so far. And we wanted to go chill with everybody, so we wind up getting out of the car.
Calling an Uber
to make it to Garrett's for the little after party, which was a little lackluster. I mean, everyone was so dead from the jam. It's understandable. But we rocked up with 18 beers.
The sickest part was Bill and Bob's.
Well, if we didn't bring beer, I don't think anybody had any beer. It was what's going on here?
Everybody's 12 or something.
So. No. All the youngins, I was like, nah, you're not touching the beer. But all the people, the dudes my age and
Jared and stuff.
Yeah, and all them, not everybody was well equipped. And I was like, oh, I thought this was a party. This is a chilling. If it was a chilling, we could have skipped it. But I was told there was a party.
I was like, okay.
It was still fun. It was a super cool way to end the night. We ended up meeting the homie from Boston. So it's this will be the last story. This will close at the podcast, but it's 2 a.m. at this point, and we're yo, we're hungry. And Garrett's yeah, just down the road. There's just I don't know what it's called.
It's a Bill and Bob's.
That's what it was called.
I'm sorry if I caused a scene there.
Thing?
Yeah, I guess, but dude, that was amazing.
Yeah, the Bill and Bob's was good. They had tacos, and I got the
chicken Caesar
wrap. Yeah. So Benji's pretty loaded at this point. I'm not gonna lie, your boy is also loaded, and he's about to order for him. Like, yo, I gotta go to the bathroom again. He's like, all right, say your order into my phone. I'm like, what are you talking about? He starts taking a video of me, Snapchatting me, and it's like, chicken Caesar wrap. And then I went to the bathroom. He like,
Fun fact, I did forgot about it. When
he tries to show the cashier the video of me ordering. So she's like,
she's just like, you want chicken Caesar wrap? I'm like, yeah, I want 2 chicken Caesar wraps.
That's what we're getting.
Absolutely, it was absolutely amazing.
So we get the chicken Caesar wraps. We eat. We meet this guy from Boston who's talking about how hard they go at the skate park back in his day. And then
I shredded metal.
Shred the metal. And that basically was like the end of the night because at this point everyone's tired. We've eaten.
And Manny just
sauced,
comes back.
And we were like ready to Uber back to Andrew's. Manny, my man, was like, nah. Came and scooped us up. And that basically concluded our time in Boston because we left the next morning pretty early, went thrift shopping. Never been thrift shopping before, bought this T-shirt, wore it today.
I hooked the man up
specifically
with the
for the occasion. I'd never thrift shopped before.
Dude, that polo looks really good on you, Cody. Just gotta say.
Oh, man, this dude's an expert. You and Mike, shout out to my man Mike. Mike too was like, no, you gotta
thrift god.
gotta come thrift shopping. Mike's a killer at the thrift shop.
He is a killer.
So we ended up like,
too.
so the next morning we ended up thrift shopping. I bought 2 shirts and a book, Secrets of the Samurai, which I have started. It's quite good.
I bought this this little disc for Clovis.
Yeah.
I didn't even give it to him yet.
He's gonna be stoked. Hopefully you give it to him before
Dude,
he hears this.
I listened to it like because my dad like has a vinyl like.
Oh, your dad's got a record player too, yeah.
He has a record player, so
All
I
right.
kind of like just listen to it. It's amazing, dude. It has some Donna Summer's hit. It's amazing.
Well, that's what I saw. I was like, because I know Clovis wanted something, so I told you I was like, "There's records over there," and
It's amazing.
The Donna
It's
Summers one.
absolutely
So.
amazing.
So we ended up like thrift shopping in the morning, saying goodbye to the boys, which is actually pretty emotional. I was like, man, these are now our brothers. Like we had Manny, AJ, Mike, and of course Andrew.
Shout out to AJ. He's the goat.
Yeah, AJ's the young, and as soon as he turns 18, we're bringing him down to Montreal. We're gonna show him what a good time we can have here. Because obviously it's 21 in Boston, 18 in Montreal. It's pretty advantageous.
He's 16, right?
Yeah, so in 2 years. In 2 years, we'll bring him down.
Kevin's going to be back, actually.
That's what I'm saying. It'll be a time. So shout out to Andrew, obviously, for housing us. All the boys. Manny for saving our lives twice.
Dude, twice. And shout out to everybody who thought I was actually Louis Opal.
Yeah, everybody
like,
calling Benji Louis Opal.
I kind of like that.
It was quite the time. The jam was like super fun. We're actually going to wrap this episode up. Ben,
Dude.
Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Cody.
Super
it was
fun.
A good time.
And you can follow him on Instagram. If you don't, it's at Fat Pizza Slut. That's actually his Instagram. Believe it or not.
Sorry, Mom.
Obviously, at Ride Trynyty and the Trynyty.com for everything related to the podcast. We actually have our new parts dropping at the very beginning of September, and hopefully Benji's full length before the end of the year.
TTS full length. Like, get ready for it.
Yeah,
it's gonna
the
be,
TTS
it's gonna
full
be
length
wild.
with your part.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild.
It's going to be a time. Shout out to anybody who's made it to the end of the podcast. We really appreciate the support.
Thank you.
The next week will probably be a French episode with Ruben from Machiavel, so it's going to be quite the time. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Have a good night.